So you've been trying to get organized with your money, and maybe you're starting to introduce some budgeting systems into your life, but nothing seems to be sticking because at the end of the month, you're still overwhelmed and feel like you're over managing your money. In this video, we are going to be covering 5 budgeting techniques that you need to try. Hey guys, I'm Justine, the host of the Debt Free Millennials channel, which is committed to helping millennials crush their debt, achieve financial confidence that leads to more fun and less payments. So let's get into these really juicy budgeting techniques. And I know if you stick with one, try it out for the next 30 days, you're going to see a lot of improvement with managing your money. The first technique to try is called whiteboard budgeting. All you're going to do is get a whiteboard, ideally with magnets that you can stick to your fridge. On this particular whiteboard, you're going to write down your income. Every single time you get paid, you're going to write down that income on your whiteboard, and then you're going to write down all of your expenses that happen throughout the month. Every single time that you get home from work or get home from running errands, you are going to ask yourself, did I spend money on anything today while I was out? If yes, you are going to write that on the whiteboard and add it up. Anytime we can go from income minus expenses, you're going to see the amount of money left over. You're also going to add in any fixed utilities or bills that you have throughout the month. Write down the amount that you know that is going to be upcoming and going to be paid and what the due date is. Then when you go ahead and pay that bill, you can simply cross it out on the whiteboard to know that it is done and taken care of. A couple that I worked with in my one-on-one coaching program actually utilized this technique, and it really helped them get on the same page. They didn't have to guess who was spending money where. They can see it on the whiteboard in front of their fridge, and the reason why I have it on the fridge is you're going to be getting in your fridge every single day. There is no mistaking it. There is no walking past it. You are absolutely going to see it on your refrigerator door and keep it top of mind. It's going to remind you of your financial goals. Maybe you really want to work on paying off your debt, and you also want to maybe save for an emergency fund or some sort of savings. You're going to see how your spending is either going to hinder or help that particular financial goal. Now, the bad side of the whiteboard budgeting technique is that yes, it can quickly and easily get erased if you're not careful. So I would recommend at least taking a picture of it halfway through the month or maybe every week just in case. Especially if you have little ones, you'll want to make sure that whiteboard is up and out of the way where they can't reach it. Also, another drawback of this is it doesn't work if you don't update it. If a few days go by, then you're going to have to play catch up on the whiteboard. If you are using electronic methods such as credit cards or your phone to pay for transactions, it's going to be a little bit easier to update that whiteboard, but you'll need to constantly stay on top of this in order for it to be effective. The second technique to try is a budget spreadsheet. This can be Excel, this can be Google Sheets. The biggest benefit of having a budget spreadsheet is that you can customize it to however you want it to look like. It's also a mix of automation and manual entry, so you get the flexibility of having those added formulas and calculations inside of your spreadsheet, but also you manually get to type in everything that you're spending money on and what paychecks are coming in. This is personally my favorite and why I offer my budget toolkit for free. It is the #1 tool that helped me pay off $35,000 in student loan debt in 2.5 years on a $37,000 income. That is why I offer it to everybody for free, because I see how valuable this tool is. Because there is a part of it that is manual entry, it actually helps you feel money again. When you're opening up your credit card or bank account statement and you're manually typing in those transactions into your spreadsheet, you start to feel all those times that you spent money on Amazon, Target, Starbucks, all the fun money, eating out. It quickly adds up and it creates that emotional attachment that so often we get disconnected from when we simply are tapping or swiping our credit cards. Now, in most cases, cases, budget spreadsheets are easy to access. You can share them with a partner and they're free. You can actually see your income and expenses throughout the year by looking month by month and keeping them in different tabs to go back. It's a great way to collect data on your income and expenses for the year. And then at the end of the year, you can do what Kyle and I do, which is host a year-end review of our total financial picture, and it helps create some awareness and clarity and helps us to goal set for the next year. And going back to the customization point with budget spreadsheets, you can add in whatever financial information that you want. You can add in net worth updates, investing trackers. Maybe you want to track specific savings goals such as a down payment or buying a new car. Whatever you want to add, you can make a spreadsheet for it, or there's already a spreadsheet available for you to download and start using. Now, a big drawback to the budget spreadsheet is it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're starting from scratch, which is why I suggested using my template to get you started. It's also a bit time consuming because of the manual entry with putting in those transactions. Plus, you have to add in your own formulas and calculations really to get it just right and figure out, do I want to add running totals or sinking funds? Do I want to see percentage breakdown of my budget? If you're using a template, then a lot of times these calculations and formulas are built in for you. If you're starting from scratch, you have to realize that there is some upfront time and cost spent in creating that. Let's go to the third technique that a lot of millennials get drawn to, which is the budget app. Back when I was paying off debt starting in 2011, 2012, budgeting apps weren't really a thing. And the budgeting apps that were available were either so clunky to use that not even an experienced accountant could figure out. It was also really, really expensive. And so now, moving forward in the year 2023 and beyond, budgeting apps have become much more commonplace and are much more affordable. I personally have dabbled in different budgeting apps. The one that I really liked was Simplify by Quicken. They create spending plans. I love that they use that terminology, spending plan, because it means you're making a plan for your money. We know we're going to be spending. We're not depriving ourselves of that core function in order to do our life. And so Simplify has really made it easy for you to go in and fill out exactly what you're going to be spending money on, and actually helps you create different savings goals baked into the app, and you can track that very easily. They have really cool colored tracking bars where you can see your progress and update it month over month. What's great about the budgeting app is that you can automatically connect bank accounts, credit cards, debts, all of that goes into one app, and then you don't have to worry about updating it yourself. Also, it's going to pull in those transactions and it's going to keep it top of mind, so when you're out and about and you're on the go, you can quickly pull it up on your phone and see exactly how much money you have left in an allocated expense category. Now, there are some drawbacks to using a budgeting app. Sometimes the transactions aren't categorized correctly, so you will have to do some manual entry in that case. Also, if the app doesn't have a partner feature in which your partner can come in and actually see that app in real time and you guys are combining the income, sharing the expenses, if you guys don't have access to that one shared account, then it makes it really difficult for both of you to stay disciplined and on top of hitting your financial goals by keeping that budget in one spot. And in my experience, you can't accurately forecast for the next month. In some cases, I have seen budgeting apps where I couldn't go into the future and change things around based off of what I've seen in the past. So I really had to wait until the first of the month to really start planning out my money, which is kind of a bummer because I'm such a planner. And I think the biggest drawback here is that you don't actually feel that money. If you haven't taken the time to really figure out your relationship with money, then a budgeting app really isn't going to help you feel those transactions, especially if you don't have your notifications turned on and you're still continuing to tap your phone, tap your credit card, and not even think about it. It's not going to help you stick to your financial goals. You really need to work on the foundations of your relationship with money and what those money stories are from your childhood childhood, in your teens, when you were a college student, and to now, and why you have this relationship with money. If you don't take the time to heal that first, then the budgeting app really isn't going to support you with the financial goals because you haven't taken the time to actually full body feel that. The fourth technique, cash envelopes. This is something that I started with when I was doing my debt-free journey, and this, opposite of the budgeting app, I think almost you need to start with cash envelopes first if you are having difficulty with really feeling money, is cash. And I know so much of our day-to-day life is cashless, and we are moving 100% towards digital currency. I feel like coins especially are going away, and at one point I could totally see us just being cashless. It's crazy. The cool thing about cash envelopes, and the cool thing is we still have our physical currency, is that you get to feel the money. You physically see the dollars inside of each cash envelope. And so what I recommend you do this for is for your big spending categories where you have problems overspending in, and you know it. You know which spending areas you have issues with. It could be shopping, restaurants, Starbucks, Amazon, Target, you name it. Any of these things you actually don't have a connection to. So what I want you to do is I want you to name an amount of money that you are comfortable with using as your budgeted amount for that particular spending category. Let's say for Starbucks, you want to budget $50. $50 in a month for Starbucks, that's a lot. But maybe you go out to Starbucks a lot. So we're going to put it in a cash envelope and name it Starbucks. Every single time you go to Starbucks, you are paying for it in cash. That means you have to stop mobile ordering. You cannot do mobile ordering no longer. Nope. And you're going to go inside of the Starbucks and you're going to pay for it in cash. And then you're going to quickly see, as those Starbucks trips add up, you're going to see how quickly that amount has decreased in your envelope. In fact, physically and really visually seeing the cash is going to create more connection for you and more awareness with your finances. You are going to really make a transformation in how you view money by physically carrying it with you in your hand. Cash envelopes also keeps you from using your credit card, especially if you have high interest credit card debt. This is really going to help you get back to the foundations of using money correctly. Money is a tool, just like a hammer. We're going to be using a hammer to easily hammer in a nail in the wall. We're not going to be using our hand. So if we can start looking at money as a tool and a resource, we can really cultivate the positive benefits of using it. Cash envelopes can also really help you see that any leftover money at the end of the month can just stay in your envelope, and then you can add to it for the next month when your budget starts all over again. I used to do this with things like restaurants and clothes, and I could really quickly see, okay, my clothing envelope actually has like $300 in it. Cool. I could go on a big shopping spree and not feel guilty about it because I have the cash in hand. And the last technique to try when it comes to budgeting is to try having a personal finance journal, some sort of budget planner that you can physically carry. The cool thing about this is it does help you feel those transactions every single time you are manually writing it down, especially if you're used to making a lot of purchases throughout the week. You're going to see how quickly those things add up, and it's going to keep it top of mind, especially if you always have it out on your desk, you're always carrying it with you. This is portable, so you can actually review it with your partner really easily. The drawbacks of this, though, is you have to constantly remember to update it. Much like the whiteboard, when you're coming home, you have to physically write it down, and if you don't remember to write things down, things can get lost and the system doesn't work. But because these financial planners are customizable and portable, and you're physically writing things down, it keeps you accountable so that you can hit your financial goals. Those are 5 budgeting techniques, each one different and unique, each one with their own drawbacks. Which one is your favorite technique and which one are you trying out? Don't forget, you know, my favorite technique is the budget spreadsheet. So if you want to test out that technique and use my budget toolkit, you can do so by clicking the link down below to access it. And don't forget, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not part of the Debt-Free Millennials family, come on and join. Hit that red subscribe button and join the close to 100,000 subscribers who are committed to achieving financial confidence that leads to more fun and less payments. I'll catch you in the next one.